Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of the Profitable Mindset Podcast.
Welcome to the Profitable Mindset, a show dedicated to teaching you the skills you need to build a profitable product-based business that makes you feel free and fully in control. Here is your host, Charlotte Smith.
Hey there, you guys. Welcome back to episode number 8 of the Profitable Mindset Podcast, what you need to be posting on social media. And why am I talking about this? Well, because I have farmers who tell me all the time that they never know what to post, or they just get stuck, or they're trying to get motivated to create content and post. And I'd like you to know that creating content and posting on social media, which includes your blog, is how you build a big and loyal customer base using what works today. Content marketing is what works in today's world. There's nothing that works better for us. So I want to dive into that. But before I do jump into that, I want to take just a moment to spotlight a listener and her review. And remember, if you want to be spotlighted, I choose someone different every single podcast episode. I'd love to highlight you. So do leave a review on iTunes, because that helps iTunes know that I have content that is going to help farmers tremendously. Those reviews let them know that. Okay. So this one this week is from Kathy at HMI, which is Holistic Management International, a wonderful organization. And I wanted to shout out to Kathy here because I got to meet her when I spoke at their conference a little while back. So I really appreciate you taking the time to leave this review. She titled it Valuable Farm Marketing Info. And Kathy said, "This should be required listening for anyone wanting to sell farm or ranch products directly to consumers." Kathy, I'm super honored, and I can't wait to see you again in the future. I know that will happen soon too. So thank you everyone who's taken the time to do that. And now let's dive back into what you need to be posting on social media. So I want to answer the question, what is content? Content is your body of work. This can be your written work. It can be photographs or videos, or hopefully a combination of all three of those, because in today's world, it's so easy to get written things and pictures and videos up on social media. So much easier than when I started my farm years ago. It took me quite a while to shoot and produce and edit a video, let alone then it took several more steps to even get it on my website. Okay, it was a really big hassle. Today, all these things are like a one-step process. It's so easy. So there's no excuse for you not to be getting fresh content up there so you can build that profitable farm. Many of you email me, and you guys, I see the comments that you're struggling to make money, or you're not making money, or I hear a lot of you telling me you're losing a tremendous amount of money. Okay. So you guys, let's just commit to each other that if we're going to do all this hard work, we're going to invest all our money and all our time into these farms, well, then we're going to be making money at it, right? It's way too much work not to. And when we don't make money, we go out of business and we leave our communities hanging in their hunt for the farm fresh food or products that we were producing. So don't do that. Let's commit to getting successful, getting profitable. Content is going to help you get there. Okay. So creating that content, this is you creating your work in the world. This is how customers will find you, and it's how they get to know you. They can tell a lot about your personality, your values, your beliefs, and they can tell if you can help them or not. They learn about you and they connect with you all through the content you create. And your content, whether it's those written blog posts or the videos or photographs, that is like a magnet that draws people into your community when you do it right. And there is a way to do it right, and there's a way to do it wrong. So we're going to talk about the right way, of course. The first reason you want to be creating content, posting on social media, is to show people that you have something that can help them. Now, you know from listening to my previous episodes that you're always listening for how you and your products are helping your customers, and then you're communicating that to them. Your content is how you communicate that to them. And when you use your content to help people ahead of time, for instance, you help them get results by sending them a recipe or showing them some time-saving tips, they clamor to buy from you. And then you don't have to work hard at all to sell your products. Plus, you'll feel confident because you're helping them instead of salesy, like saying, hey, buy my stuff. This is how marketing becomes serving, and it feels so good to you when you get to this point. Not like you're trying to cram something down their throats. Instead, it feels like you're serving them the products that they've learned through reading and seeing your content is the solution to their struggle or reaching their goals. Then they can be assured you can help them because you've already helped them with your content ahead of time, right? So they already trust you because perhaps you shared that quick recipe, or maybe you shared a how-to that saved you time in the kitchen. They were thrilled to have your tips. You've built trust with them, and now they're opened up to buying from you. Now remember, content is not to talk about how you can help them, like saying, hey, I can help you if you buy from me, or buy my stuff, I can help you, or the reasons why you can help them, but your content should actually help them. Such as you don't want to say, I can help you get dinner on the table, buy our chicken. Instead, you're going to actually help them get dinner on the table. Maybe you'll give them your favorite roast chicken recipe and you will teach them the process in a little how-to video or maybe in your Insta stories. And they are going to be grateful that you actually helped them. Not that you just posted a photo of your chicken saying, hey, come buy our chicken. We'll be at this market on this day. They will buy from you when you help them ahead of time through your content, because that's what connects them to you and makes them trust you. That is what your content creation is doing. So please know this too. You're not writing about your farming practices. You're giving them something they can apply to their life that will help them. For me, this time of year, that may look like an ice cream recipe and a picture of my daughter and her friends eating it out in our backyard on a hot summer day. Or in the fall when school starts, maybe it's a pantry makeover video. Or this summer could be some quick tips on grilling the perfect steak. This is what my customers really love reading and seeing me post. Not my farming practices. They will just gloss over that. Okay, they don't connect with things like that that's going on the farm or, the things we might want to think they're interested in. They instead want me to focus on the farming, and they want me to talk with them about the things that interest them. That's what brings them back to me and my website content and my social media accounts all the time. Over and over, that's why they're going to come back to me, because I'm talking about things that they are interested in, want to hear from me about. All right, I want to talk for a sec here about where you put your content. For most of you, maybe probably all of you, the cheapest yet still by far the most lucrative point of entry for content is a blog. This is where you start. Blogs are not outdated. They are still the number one way for you to build that profitable, loyal customer base. Not Facebook, not Instagram, not anywhere else. Instead, utilizing a blog. Okay. Many people today call it content creation. Okay. It might not be called a blog anymore, but that's still what it is. And when you create your website, it's still the blog that you will add to it. That's still what it's called on the back end there too. Now, if you don't have a blog yet, but you instead are spending time on Instagram or Facebook, you'll want to go back and start that blog, because you just can't build a profitable farm on social media alone without it, or any profitable business. Those platforms are to connect with people you help and then funnel those visitors to your website. Then the blog will keep them engaged and help you show up consistently in front of more people. So then you might be asking, well, how do they get to my website? Well, you are sending everyone you know there. Others will find you on the internet in ways like funneling them from Facebook and Instagram, and they start reading your stuff. They read your content on your blog, and you eventually get them on your email list. Sooner or later, they're going to send you an email or they're going to phone you. And if your phone number is not on your website, get it on there because that has made me so many sales. And they're going to find out how to buy from you. Or maybe they'll just place an order on your website, or they'll stop in your store or your market booth and buy from you. Now, if the stuff that you're writing and producing that they're reading is all about your farming practices, like I see most farmers posting about, well, that's not engaging enough for them to sign up to your email list and want to buy from you. What does interest them and what does engage them is when you create content that you post regularly on how you can help them solve a problem or reach a goal. When you're selling direct to consumer, you've got to keep creating content, okay? You can't give up. Even if you have 2 people on your list and you have 10 followers and you think, no one's reading my content anyway, why am I bothering with this? Don't give up. You can't give up. This is the answer to modern marketing today. Content creation, consistent content creation. Okay. You've got to keep it up. It will come around. You're playing the long game here. You want a steady, consistently profitable farm. And this is what will help you create that. Don't be deceived by Instagram likes and Facebook likes or the number of followers. Those are what's called vanity metrics, and they don't equate to dollars. But emails sent to your list, linking over to your blog post, do equate to dollars, okay? There's a big difference there. Farmers will often ask me too, well, how do I get people to land on my website? Because I thought if I built it, they'll just land there. If I built it, they will come. Those are the words I hear a lot. Or they'll tell me that they're paying someone for SEO, so why don't they show up in Google searches? Well, what that person you're paying probably hasn't told you or doesn't even know is the best way to be optimized for searches is to have new, fresh content on your website. Those daily Instagram and Facebook posts do not make your website show up in Google searches. SEO, that search engine optimization, happens when you have fresh content on your blog, which means a minimum of once a month, year round. And that, you guys, is totally doable. This is where your blog content comes in, and it's crucial. When you create that new blog post each month, and that post can be a video, but it's got to have some verbiage around the video. It can't just be a video because SEO does not recognize video. So you've got to have the blog post written in there and then just embed the video in there somewhere. This is what helps you show up in Google searches, having a blog post, a new blog post, minimum once a month. So again, no one is randomly landing on your website. You will then write an email and send them to your website with a link to that new blog post in your email. So let's talk a bit here about how does content turn into dollars. Well, you'll write the blog post first, then you'll craft an email out of your email marketing software. I've talked about that in my previous blog posts. And I want you to send out that email no matter how big or small your list is, because remember, it is going to grow every month because you're listening to every single one of my podcast episodes, and they are teaching you all those things you need to do to grow that list. So yes, maybe it's 10 people today. Next month, it's going to be 20. It is very soon going to be 200 and 2,000. And man, by the time you get to 2,000 people on your email list, you will be making hundreds of thousands of dollars if you follow what I teach you guys. This is what you have to look forward to. I want to be an example to you of what is possible. Okay, so let's keep going. So you're going to create an email that just teases about the blog post you just wrote. And again, this doesn't have to be a huge, long blog post. It can be a short description of the dinner you made and then the fabulous recipe, okay? That can be your blog post. So tease it in the email, and then you're going to send a link in the email to get them over to your website. Now, some people will ask me, can't I just paste the blog content, such as that recipe, in the email? Why should I make them click over to read it on the blog? Well, no, you can't just include it in the email. That's leaving money on the table. You've got to strategize this to make the most of your time and hard work, okay? You've got to send them over to the website with that link in the email so Google sees you as relevant. That's how you get people to click on your website. Google says, oh, people are clicking on this website because you sent them there, of course. Therefore, we will show you higher up in Google searches. Pretty soon, you will be on page 1 of Google searches. And remember, nobody goes to page 2 or 3 or 4 usually. So that's your goal. You want to be on page 1. Your content creation is going to help you get there. Okay, so now let's talk a bit about ideas and how to come up with ideas. And coming up with ideas, of course, is important. And I know you're struggling with it because I hear this from you all regularly. First of all, I want you to know that you can't wait for ideas to come to you. Okay, this will never get your profitable farm built. Instead, you have to actually make an effort to schedule time each week to focus on coming up with ideas. This is where the profitable mindset content I teach about comes in. Notice where you're getting stuck. What are your limiting beliefs? What is stopping you from creating content or coming up with ideas? Are you waiting till you feel motivated? I have a lot of people tell me that. They say, I want to work on my marketing this week, but I'm just not feeling motivated. Well, guess what? That will never work. You can't wait for motivation, okay? You got to be disciplined about it. Here's what I mean. If I waited to feel motivated to clean my toilets, they'd be lucky to be cleaned once a month, you guys. I cannot rely on motivation to get important things done in my business or my toilets cleaned, all right? And no successful business owner waits to feel motivated to do anything. Instead, I rely on my discipline in my life. If it's the toilets, for instance, well, I made the commitment to clean the toilets every Thursday. And since I keep all my commitments to myself, they get cleaned on Thursdays with or without the feeling of motivation. I call on this discipline to do what has to be done in my life and in my business. And you'll need to learn to practice this too, okay? You can't wait to feel motivated to do anything or you won't do the necessary things in your business, all right? So don't wait to feel inspired to come up with something to write about. We have these, you've heard of the primitive brain or the lizard brain, okay? That part of our brain works to keep us the same and to conserve energy. Our brain does not work to motivate us to sit down and expend energy to write or to post something, okay? Our lizard brain is set up to do the opposite, to conserve energy. So therefore, you have to intentionally use your prefrontal cortex, or some people call it your higher brain, to plan ahead, okay? You use that part of your brain to do the planning and the discipline. Your lower brain doesn't do this for you, okay? You're using your higher brain to override it, okay? Therefore, you are going to decide when you'll create content. You create the discipline in your week to sit down and create. Remember, don't wait to be inspired. It won't happen often enough for you to become profitable. Now, of course, ideas may come to you at random times, like in the shower or in the field or when I'm in line for the grocery store. And make a note of them. I just pull out my phone and I put something in my notes app about what it is I'm thinking about that I want to write about in the future. But you have to tell yourself and be disciplined about when it's time to sit down and create content, and then constrain yourself to that time you already committed to. For me, that's Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to 2. And I never consider if I'm feeling motivated or inspired to sit down and create right then, because my commitment I made means I'm disciplined in taking that action at that time. And you can't just think you'll get to it at some point in the week. You need to actually schedule the day and the time that you will be doing this, okay? Figure out what day, what time will you be sitting down every single week and creating that content for you to post on your blog or social media, and then be disciplined about sticking to those times. Okay, so now that your disciplined self is ready to sit down and create, what in the world will you create? First off, One of the ways I recommend finding content is by reading. I'm always reading. It could be cooking magazines, cookbooks, nutrition articles, all sorts of different business magazines and business books. And I always have my ideal customer in mind when I do it. Okay. Get in the habit of making notes when you talk with people. What are the questions that your customers or potential customers are asking you? Look in your email inbox. People are already telling you what they want you to create content about, okay? So all those emails from potential customers and current customers, what are those emails about? What are they asking you or what are they telling you? That's your content that will connect the best with people. That's what they're telling you they're interested in hearing about. This is way less complicated than you think. For me, it was as simple as listening to them and noticing that the most common question in our farm store early on was, what are the names of your cows? Yeah, I'm not kidding. That's one of the things they were most interested in. So guess what? One of my most read blog posts was about how my cows have fancy French names and why and how I choose them. People loved it. They ate that stuff up. So remember, what you think you need to be writing about is not usually what your customers will actually read or engage with in your content. Farmers want to write about farming, and our customers want to read about what it is they're talking about. Like, what are the cows' names? I know it seems crazy, but it's so true that your customers have all the answers to your content creation. They're already telling you. And my marketing students are grateful when the light bulb finally goes off in their head and they realize, oh, my customers are not drawn to me because of my farming practices, but because I'm talking with them about things they're interested in. You guys, it's so much simpler than you might think it is. Okay, now a second way to know what to write about is to ask yourself, what are you dealing with in regard to your customers? What are you struggling with that's related to your ideal customer struggles? Do you both have middle school daughters like me that desperately want a cell phone? Well, there's your idea for content that your ideal customer will eat up, okay? If that's her, of course. All right, and another idea is, what goals do you have that she has too? Now that I'm in my 50s, my customers and I talk all the time in our farm store about how our sleep just went to pot once we turned 50, and so did our metabolism, okay? This is what my ideal customers want to talk about. And what's that got to do with the chicken I sell? Everything. Because she's buying a relationship with me, and the chicken is just a bonus. She's coming here because when she comes here, she has a conversation with me about things that interest her, and she grabs a chicken on her way out. All right. This I want for you too, because it makes it so much easier to build your business. All right. They are paying for the relationship they get with you, and what they buy from you is just a bonus. So see how I know my customer is struggling with the same thing I am because I'm listening to her. So I'm not talking about rotating my cows to fresh grass on my blog or any farming practices on Facebook and Instagram. Instead, I'm talking about something my customer is going to eat up when she comes across it. She's going to feel so connected to me and like I truly get her. She's going to pay attention to how it is she can come meet me because she knows I can help her. See how your content creation must focus on helping her solve a problem or reach a goal? Makes your job so much easier. A great strategy that I practice, and you can totally do it too, is just keep an ongoing list of those topics that you can talk about. I keep a list of problems and goals that my ideal customer has in a Google Doc. So whenever I sit down on my Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to 2, I can just pull out that list and I have all kinds of ideas to write about. And I know she will connect with any one of these topics because I've been listening to her and making notes. So the things that are on my list, and every single farmer, everyone listening to this podcast, our lists are going to look different because we have different customer bases. All right. Some things on my list are, how do I get my kids to eat real food? How do I get my kids to eat more vegetables? People are always interested in how do I get my husband's breakfast, lunch, and dinner daily when I work too? Or they want to know how I food prep. I've had customers who want to see inside my refrigerator. So you guys, an Instagram post picture of the inside of my fridge is going to be far more engaging than any of my farming practices out in the field, because that's what they want to see. All right. They want to know, how is it I feed a family? And so that they can get ideas too. People are always these days talking about keto versus paleo versus intermittent fasting. So topics like these would make great content. They ask me other questions like, how much raw milk should I drink? Or they'll say, what do I do with the fat on top of the milk? Or they'll also ask, can I use the cream in my coffee? Okay, these may seem like simple, sometimes even dumb questions, but you guys, they're not. These are the things that are going to be a magnet drawing people to you. Okay, here's a question I get when we start to take chicken orders for our fresh chicken. People will say, do the chickens come with feathers on or off? Yes, this is a real question I get asked during chicken season. So instead of laughing at your customers when they ask something like that, what a great blog post that would be, and then posted all over Facebook and Instagram. So some of these questions that you and I might think are crazy are the things that our customers want to see and hear from us. So this is what we want to post about. So see how I already know the topics my customer wants to hear about? All right, I know you can make a list like this pretty quickly. You know the topics. People are already telling you what they want to hear about, okay? So pull out those emails from your inboxes and start making a list. And then you use that prefrontal cortex, your higher brain, to decide when you'll make time for content creation in your week. Again, for me, it's 10 to 2, Tuesdays and Thursdays. I get my blog post written, and then I get my Facebook and Instagram posts ready that extend from that blog post. And I say no to anything else during that time. I do nothing. I take no other meetings, and I don't go to lunch, and I don't commit to anything on the farm, because 10 to 2, I'm creating content, because that is my business. That's how I make my business profitable and successful, and that's why I'm still here. So I'll sit down at my desk, I'll pull up my list of content topics, I'll choose one, and I'll choose it very strategically because I know it lines up with what I'm selling on my farm, okay? So we sell fresh chicken June through September or October, so I'm not going to post about fresh chicken in January because it's not time to take orders yet, all right? But during my content time, I will research the idea I came up with. I will brainstorm. I will outline the article. I'll fill in the words. You know, it might take 1 or 2 of my 4-hour sessions to make this happen. And then I schedule it. And I send out an email every 2 weeks to my list, and you'll probably want to work your way up to that. But start out with once a month minimum, okay? And then again, you want to repurpose your blog. That's where it starts, but make sure it's in the other places on social media that you exist too, such as your Facebook and Instagram page. They've got to see the content several times. Don't just post it once and disappear, all right? They need to see it multiple times, okay? You're going to create a photo for each post that you have, and I keep a bunch of photos in my Google Drive, so if I'm doing a post on chickens or milk or organization or the keto diet, I can pull something out. Or maybe I want to go out on my farm and take a photo. Okay, this all takes place during my content creation time. I'm going to list the topics out. I'm going to have a system for delivering every one of them through my email marketing software. And again, scheduling that time, for me, it's twice a week so that I'm consistently posting is crucial. The other thing you want to do is you always want to deliver. Your customers need to know that consistently every month, or better yet, every 2 weeks, that they are going to get that content from you by email, and then they'll learn to see it repurposed on Facebook and Instagram. They'll see it several times and they'll get in the habit of knowing you can help them. That's why you want to repost it too. Now, chances are you've tried creating content and you have some of it out there already, right? So you don't even have to start from scratch. Go back, get every post you have from the past, especially if you've written blog posts. Doesn't matter how old they are, pull them up, rewrite them, update them, create complimentary Instagram posts and Facebook posts. You can even turn these into free PDFs to download or recipe ebooks. It's so easy and free for you, and your customers will see it as really valuable, even though it didn't cost you anything to create it, and you become their authority. You become their expert in all things farm related that you produce. Okay, so now I'd love to see you go commit to your content creation time. Make that decision to take massive action, which means you're going to take action until you see results, okay? And results is that growing email list and that growing loyal customer base. What that's probably going to look like is 1 to 2 blog posts every single month delivered by email with 5 to 10 Instagram and Facebook posts to complement them. Now, if you've decided you don't want to be on Facebook or Instagram or any other social media besides your blog, that is totally okay. You can build an incredibly successful, profitable farm without those platforms, okay? I'm just including it here because many of you are already on them. But truly, the blog, the website, and your email list is your foundation of your business, okay? Facebook and Instagram are channels you can use, but they don't replace the former. So let's get at it, you guys. Let's go create some fabulous content that our customers are already telling us they're interested in. I'd love to hear from you how it goes for you, okay? Leave me a comment on this episode on the website or send an email. I love getting your emails telling me how these podcasts are helping you. I want to know what's working out for you. Also, choosing to be disciplined in your content creation, let me know how that goes, you guys. Okay, go get them, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. For more great resources, check out theprofitablемindset.com. See you next time.